Cheers.
Cheers. So, hi, people who aren't here. Um, people who are watching this in the future. Welcome to A Whole Lot of Laughter. I'm Lila, and this is Naomi, and we are adventuring on a year of asking, continuing from my year last year, where I think I finally come down from that a little bit. And we thought we'd let you guys in on our accountability calls because they're exciting and we learn shit, and we thought you guys would like to as well. So welcome to being flies on the wall of hilariously juicy conversations. We'll try to remember that you're watching, even if you'll be watching.
No guarantees.
So let's just jump right in. How was your week?
Packed with asking. I realized that even though we've been setting specific asks for the week, I am realizing that with a couple of the projects I have going on, there's constant asking happening right now. And yet I'm just going and doing those because they got to get done because they're part of this project. But then there's the ask, and it's like, and it's like, are you kidding me right now? I've been asking every freaking day this week. I'm reaching out to people I know, people I don't know. Hey, and some of them I'm getting these weird responses because some of them I have to get like physical mailing addresses for. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm like, we're friends. Do you think I'm going to sit outside your house and stalk you? And I'm asking that, yet I'm getting addresses from complete strangers I'm having conversations with, which is really funny to me.
That is hilarious.
A different conversation. But I realized that it's the weight and the meaning that I'm giving the ask. It's not that I'm bad at asking. It's because of what I'm assigning the value or the judgments I have around that ask.
Yeah, those judgments again. That's why I started this adventure. I'm telling the invisible audience things that you already know right now. So I think the last 5 years for me, 6 years, has been about not being small anymore. And one of the ways that I made myself small was I don't want to ask because I don't want to be an inconvenience. Like, I will ask my ex-husband in a not so loving, yelling way, do stuff for us. It's your job. My mother, I would ask if I didn't think it was going to burden her because she had chronic health situations going on in her world. That's it. So being an orphaned only child means the only person on the planet it's okay for me to ask for support from is my ex-husband, who I don't like and I keep trying to kick out of my life. But my daughter likes him, so he stays.
Wow.
So does that like narrow my ability to be supported and loved, and like the whole entire universe wants to support me, but I'm gonna give all that responsibility to one other human.
And one that you don't like.
I don't like you, but it is your job to pay the child support early and wash the kids' laundry every week. That's all I can really expect from him, because be a decent human being is like, hello, judgments. And so I embarked upon last year's year of asking so that I could get over myself. And get over myself I did. So this year, so far, I can't remember what I've asked for, and I'm not sure I wrote it down. But it's been uncomfortable, I will say that.
I think I have to get an actual ask journal.
I think so too. That would be a great idea.
Yeah. So that one, it keeps me more accountable to what, because I know one day last week you had asked about my asks, and my ask kind of changed. Over time, our asks change.
They do.
Little former personal trainer joke there. But I could remember one of them, but I know we had talked about two, and I was like,
I wrote yours down. I know mine was about the throne.
Yes.
Which I haven't asked yet, but I will. We're going to shoot this weekend, so I will.
I want to be there for your photo shoot. Oh my God. So I keep thinking about it this week. It's like, oh my God, this is going to be so great. I can't wait to see the pictures. But I think that a journal, it will help keep me accountable. Two, and I want to start using my blog for this, but not every blog is going to be about my year of ask.
Right.
You know, I've got other nerdy stuff to blog about, but the journal will be a great way to capture it, I think, and write thoughts about it, because come December, okay, let's just be honest, come March, I'm not going to remember what I was going through this week in my asking. And
yeah.
I think there's a powerful, people are coming out with books all the time, which is great. They are great ways to help inspire people, help people understand how to shift stuff for themselves, help people understand that they are not alone, so that they take that first step, whatever it is that book does. Not to say my year of ask will become a book, but that's how these things start. And if we want to inspire other people, you inspired me from your journey last year to do my own year of ask with you this year. So if we can inspire other people, yeah, I know, take that in, sister.
I'm an inspiration.
You absolutely are. And I think that it can become easy. I know for myself, I'll just speak for myself. When I've moved through something, when I'm on the other side, sometimes it can be easy for me to forget the shit I was sitting in the midst of it, the frustration, the turmoil, the indecision, the I don't know, the uncomfortability of it, of that journey, and as well as the joy and the celebration, all the parts and pieces that come in the process, because now I'm at this totally different place. And that was 7 months ago. I remember it kind of sucked, but and it was kind of good, and it was kind of uncomfortable, and it was kind of fun. And Lila and I did these great calls, and I think having that journal is a place to express things in between our calls that show up.
I agree. I have a generosity journal sitting on my bookcase that I work in a library during the day, y'all. And we have this room in the back that is full of donations. And we get we got 2 laptops a couple weeks ago. Like, we get all kinds of stuff donated. So I brought home a journal one day, and they're like $1 a piece.
Oh my God.
So that might be my asking journal, because I was like, I'm just going to take this back and let them sell it to somebody else. But I think that might be my asking journal.
What's your ask journal?
Yeah. So the other thing about journaling things through, and why I'm glad we're recording our calls, is because for me, once a healing happens, I forget. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what's that thing we just cleared? Because it's gone. Like, it never existed. So I'm like, should have wrote it down when I was angsty about it.
Right. It was really juicy, but
I was really angsty. I was really bothered, and now I'm not.
And it's great that goes away. And again, really awesome opportunity for other people for all of you out in viewer land, as well as ourselves, to be able to tap into what was that process? What did shift? Because sometimes when watching someone else go through a process, having gone through that experience many times, getting certified in both NLP and timeline therapy, watching other people go through their shifts, shift something for you.
Yeah.
Or also trigger something where it's like, oh my gosh, brilliant. And having those notes to tap into, having these recordings to come back to. Yeah, definitely. big power.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you ask for last week?
God, what I would call the worst one, which is really funny that's how, to me, and we didn't record last week's call, but what we dove into was, for me, asking for money is like super uncomfortable. Now, it's one thing if I'm out fundraising for Crystal Roses. They're a local charity. And so say I'm out raising money for them. I can ask people for money for that. I can host a fundraiser event for that. I could all freaking day long because it isn't about me. So it's not a big deal. But for me, asking for money is like, yeah, it feels like sitting on the side of the road with a sign that says, hey, give me money. And obviously I have some judgments around that, or I wouldn't even bring that scenario up. And I've given money to people who are in that space.
I think that would be more comfortable for me.
Right? Just anonymously sitting on some street corner somewhere where nobody knows me with a sign. Yeah. Although I'd have a lot of internal chatter. That guy in the car looked at me. I bet he's thinking, it would be all about, what are these people thinking about me? And that's why asking for money is so uncomfortable. It goes against so much of the value system that I was brought up in, which, even as I say that phrase, when I step back and look at it, I'm like, well, that's a really tangled ball of yarn right there.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, there was this, you work for your money, you work hard, you save your money, you're smart and responsible. And it's that responsibility piece that was drilled into us. And yet on the other hand, we were this nice Midwestern Christian family, and Christianity, that part of the basis of that is all about charity. But be responsible. So don't ever ask for charity. It's okay to give it because people need it, but not you.
Yeah.
So absolutely. That's some really effed up mixed messaging there. And so there were a lot of judgments. And so, yeah, I asked
for
money. I asked for money. And I'm still like, oh my God, do we have to record this? There was a program earlier this year that I said no to. And out of making an agreement with my half side about some goals that we have financially, and to, wrap up some other bills and past goals that are still on our financial books. And so I wanted into a program that started yesterday, actually, which it's a program all about receiving and being and unblocking those things that block you from receiving. All the gifts of the universe is just like, I'm waiting. I got this stuff sitting here for you. I'm waiting. Are you ready to receive now? No? Okay. How about now? And so I wanted in on this. The money is not currently in our budget, especially based on our agreement. I'm like, but I really want in. And so I'm like, frick. Let's push the envelope. Let's step out big and bold. And since Lila and I are doing this year of asking, I'm just going to go ask in this particular group that's associated with that event to see what comes in. And I explained what we were doing, and I'm like, I'm asking, I need that first month's payment. And I'm like, okay, but if I'm going to go big, because I can hear Lila going, is that what you really want? What would Lila say? And it's like, so I'm going to ask big, or if you feel so inclined, the entire tuition. And then I got off Facebook and I texted Lila and I said, I think I'm going to throw up.
That was great. And we did some clearings. And since then,
I actually had donations show up so that I could be part of that program. which the emotions over the whole thing, up and down and up and down and up and down, you know, and other people who were, you know, waiting to get into this program that also were waiting for certain financial pieces to fall into place, you know, they were tagged and people were like, oh, you know, hit me up, I can pay for you to be in there. And it's like, but I wasn't tagged in that. And so then there's this, oh, nobody wants to play with me, but then somebody else bumped my tag so it would be seen. And Lila commented on it. And it's like, then all of a sudden my PayPal started pinging with donations of people who were like, you're going to love it. Oh my God. There's in the coaching world, we often hear, if you really want it, you will make it happen. And if you don't have the financial resources, you must not have really wanted it, is sort of, in my translation, how that sounds. Mm-hmm. And so I think that I have to go make that money happen myself, whether it's sell a widget or a program or find the money on the ground or, you know, sell a kidney. I don't advocate that, by the way, but you know what I'm saying? It's like,
kidneys are important.
Yeah, especially this time of year. I wouldn't sell a kidney during the winter. Okay, I wouldn't sell a kidney ever, but love your kidney during the winter.
Traditional Chinese medicine jokes, people.
Right, yes.
You'll get it later.
Yeah, go follow me and you'll know why that's nerdy humor.
And go
on. So there's this belief that I had. Is it still there? This is going to be one that I think there will be more journaling on, because now I can see it and I see the inner workings of it, if you will. And I also see where it's not. How was it you put it the other night, the exercise you had me do? Well, that's an interesting point of view.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So if you're watching and that sounds familiar, I am a multi-modality spiritual super nerd. And I am currently in love with access consciousness, but you will also hear words out of my mouth from Noah St. John, because I believe that asking questions is how you find things out and how you create. Mm-hmm. You'll also hear Abraham Hicks come out of my mouth, because I am fluent in Abraham. Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Marion Williamson, not so much A Course in Miracles, that's my girl Janice, but I'm looking at my bookcase like Danielle Laporte, Gabrielle Bernstein. Yeah, so Interesting Point of View is a tool from Access Consciousness, which is a fun modality. And if you're not familiar with it, then go Google, fall down the rabbit hole like I did. Follow Crystal Crawford and Julia Sotis. They are fantastic. I'm not being paid for these commercials, but if Crystal and Julia want to pay me specifically by scholarshiping me into a bars class or foundation, I am your person. I would have great gratitude. And as you can see, I'm a good groupie. Nice commercials going down for free. But Interesting Point of View is a phrase to repeat that takes the heat off of the belief. Mm-hmm. So Interesting Point of View, I have the point of view that I should not ask people for money. Interesting Point of View, I have the point of view that if my children need something, I should be the one to provide it, or their father should be the one to provide it. How insane is that? Like, there's 7+ billion people on this planet, and I am going to put the responsibility of raising not 1 but 3 humans on the 2 of us, and really on me, because let's just face it, he don't participate. So you take Interesting Point of View, I have the point of view that, and you put whatever the limiting belief is on the outside of it. And after so many repetitions of interesting point of view, I have the point of view that my neighbors shouldn't be so fucking loud. It takes the charge out of it. Just listening to children shouting on the other side of the wall. So yeah, we have a lot of interesting points of view that we have given meaning to.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if we take the meaning off of them and put them back on being interesting points of view, we create more freedom for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like the beginning steps in Byron Katie's work.
Yes.
Is that true? It's like, that's an interesting point of view. It causes that interrupt of having to stop and look at and ask myself, okay, oh my God, I'm afraid people are going to judge me if I ask for money because I should be responsible enough to have made it myself, or whatever the chatter is, which was kind of the conversation in my head the other night. Well, that's an interesting point of view. It just interrupts. Well, first it interrupts the spin out, which always good to interrupt that pattern, but also gives, and I understand why it's called access consciousness, gives the opportunity to, what I'm looking for, explore that particular belief from every angle. Well, that's an interesting point of view. For me, when I say that's an interesting point of view, there's automatically in the background this, and is it true?
Yeah. That's what happens when you dabble in multiple modalities.
Right?
Byron Katie lives in my head. I was upset because I didn't get a job that was gonna like change my life. And I'm like stomping down the street all mad because I love angry walks. They're great. I'm like, I needed that job. And Byron Katie in my head is like, is that true? And then sometime later, Abraham starts talking to me, and I was like, you know what? I'm done listening to both of you people. Because you live in my head now. No, it's not true. Obviously, I didn't need the job. I'm still alive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what else has unfolded? Because there are like juicy side effects to this asking thing, and it's only been 2 weeks.
I know, right? Well, let's see. When I noticed people were contributing, it was like all of a sudden there was this, holy crap. That not only is, the universe has your back. That's easy to say. Sometimes that's harder to feel if you're in a space, and by you, I mean me, are in a space where you're having a hard time seeing that, because life's an interesting blend of stuff.
Yeah.
Some up, some down, we label it good and bad, whatever. Excuse me. And so seeing other people step up, besides my biz besties, not that I expect them to, but they love me and I know that they do. So of course they support me in different things. But to see people who were strangers step up, wow. It reaffirms, for one, that people do give a shit. Okay. That they do want to see other people succeed. They're willing to contribute to that success. That they're willing to be that beacon of light that you deserve and can have all you want. It shifted a lot for me. And one of the interesting processes, the doors were already closed on that program when I got in. And how that came about, I woke up, it's such, the whole freaking thing is interesting, because it's like the night that the doors were closing, it's like, do I just dive in on faith? But there was so much chatter. You didn't do this other program that would have been a really great program for you, and chatter.
Yeah.
And it's like, where does this bump up against my agreement with my husband? Where does it, all this stuff? I still have all these outstanding things that I'm taking care of. And so I ended up I made the decision not to. And the doors closed. And in the middle of the night, it was probably 2 a.m. I woke up and there was this just go register. I actually looked on the site to see, because it was middle of the night and not all coaches automate their door closings. I went on and the door was not closed, even though the timer had timed down. And I still shrank, played small, and was like, I can't.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I get up and someone had seen my post. So they bumped it and they tagged the person who runs that group and runs this particular program. Someone else saw it. So up to that point, I had gotten $6 in donations, $6.01 actually. And all of a sudden, somebody sent me 20. And I'm like, shit, the doors are closed though. And then someone I know, we studied in the same place, sends me a private message. Hey, if you're thinking you're going to do that, would you be willing to use my affiliate link? And it's amazing to me all the shit that came up just in that. Because here I am asking for something big. She turns around and asks me for something. I've been looking at all these other people who were giving this and giving that and whatever, if you use their affiliate link. Like we're talking 12 weeks of one-on-one support that you would pay through the nose for. Weekly card drawings, readings, things like that. This person's simply asking me to use it and they will donate $25 to help me get in. And at first I was like, really? And I'm like, wait a minute. I had to take a step back because it's like, okay, if I'm going to ask and have a desire for people to support what I'm up to, where's my generosity level if my judgment starts showing up when other people ask? So I said, you know what? I need to get my head out of my ass and into my ask. And I was like, you know what? That would be really awesome. I said, the doors are closed though. And she's like, just talk to her. I'm like, really? You can do that?
Of course you can. She's a person.
Right?
She's not Marie Forleo yet. She's on the track, but she's not there yet. So yeah.
Well, then maybe hopefully even if she is, she will keep her own spirit.
Hopefully.
You know? And so I did. I reached out and it came together and bada boom, bada bing, I'm in. And, you know, someone else paid another donation. So I decided, okay, since the majority of that is there, I'm going to step up and meet that part way and say yes. So I did. So my ask turned into a yes.
Yay. I love telling all of other people's business. So
yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome. But wait, there's more. There it is. What about the jewelry? Can we talk about that? Or was that like me and you? Touchstone?
What about it?
You texted me some juicy thing that happened?
Go ahead, talk about it, because I don't remember.
And I had $750 in free jewelry coming my way.
Oh, shit, right, that. It was so awesome. I'm so excited. And as soon as I put that order in, $750 of free Touchstone by Swarovski jewelry. Swarovski. Sparkly, awesome. I was going to say shit, but it's really not. It's really fucking awesome stuff, man. And not all of it is like crazy sparkly, like, oh, I'm going to go be on the red carpet, because that isn't always my style. But $750 in free jewelry.
And how did the shipping and handling get paid for?
Yes, I had to pay shipping and handling, which of course, other stuff's more important right now in our financial plan. That can wait. Only there was an expiration date. So it had to be done by a certain time, or I would lose that $750 in free jewelry. That would be a really big no to the universe. I'm not open to receive, is my opinion. Not to mention the hard work that it took to get to that. I wouldn't say it was wasted, but where if I had let that go by, there would have been a piece of, where are you not willing to celebrate what you're up to? Right? If I just let it go by, because it took work to get that. It's because of steps I took. It's not like somebody just out of the blue said, here's $750 in free jewelry. I took steps in my side hustle to have that be there. And I had to pay tax and shipping. Well, my half side had done a session with someone and ended up being gifted an extra amount that more than covered the tax and shipping.
I got that text and it was like, we didn't ask for any of that.
And I'm so excited. And it's the weirdest thing. And this is where I think that this whole asking and just like the whole, this, I'm going to just say it, the program that I'm in is Infinite Receiving, and 6.0. And I'm definitely seeing over the last few weeks the shift, but especially over this last week. And this, for some of you, this may be TMI. Sorry, too bad. I'm a health coach. We talk about stuff. PMSing right now, right before my moon time and being in perimenopause. I do have a headache. It's not huge, but it's just kind of this lethargic-y, and that's kind of how I feel. I'm a little tired today. I can tell it under my eyes, which is pretty typical for right up until now. Up until recently, in the past, that has been typical of my experience of PMS and perimenopause. And I don't really have the energy to do stuff today. And the few days beforehand, I would just really start to shut down and not just mood wise, but it's just like, I just want to hole up in a little dark closet. Not that anything's horrible, wrong or bad or depressed. It's just like, oh,
Netflix
people today. Right? Yeah. I become one with the couch and, camouflaged with a big blanket. And what I'm finding is with each of these pieces, one, it makes the no's when they do show up, because they do still. It's not like every single thing becomes a yes instantly. Some things maybe aren't meant to be a yes, like your job. We'll talk about that. But my energy has shifted, and now all of a sudden it's like, I got a free book that somebody sent me. Then I won another free book that someone else sent me, or I'm assuming it's on its way. And then my half side got that extra money gifted to him. And then I get a text yesterday, hey, I was over at so-and-so's and I didn't know this mutual friend. And she was saying that your husband does this kind of work. So tell me about that. What does he do? And I'm like, okay, here's my best shot at a description, without saying the man's magical. And finally, it's just, I get to the point where it's like, what specifically are you wanting to work on? And so he says, I'm like, yep, then he is your guy. Here's how much it is. Here's how long the appointment needs to be. Let's get it set up. So all of a sudden, a client from 5 years ago showed up, wants to work with the two of us again. So by shifting what was contracting, more and more stuff, again, it was that whole, the universe was waiting in the wings. You ready yet? How about now? How about now? And now I'm saying, yeah, okay, now's good. Now's good.
Yeah.
I'm willing to ask, and I'm willing to be asked of. And I think I think both sides needed to be shifted.
I am really good at giving. I cannot tell you how many times, particularly over the last 5 years. So, backstory for the invisible audience. 8 years ago, my husband and I separated. And I immediately went into a roommate situation. And so in my mind, I was veritably homeless for 4 years after that. Veritably, because at any moment, these people whose homes we were sharing could have been like, you know what, we don't like you anymore, go away. And that happened twice. I may have created that with my thought patterns. But, and they were nicer. Well, the second one was nicer than that about it. Although I don't know if she was nicer. But anyway, a lot of the crying that happened in that time was met with, you are always giving. Sort of let the universe give to you. Like, it's okay for you to not be paying rent right now. It's completely okay. The world is not ending. Nobody is dying. And so that is part of what this asking experience is about for me. It's about stretching my receiving muscles in a deliberate way so that I can allow more, judge less, have more access to what's available to me. I remember saying this to you, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but you give so much. We give so much. I'm raising 3 whole entire humans. I don't get paid. I don't get paid to be the coach and the chauffeur and the referee and the nurse and the chef trainer and the maid and the trainer of the people of like, no, you have to clean up after yourself. The laundry, like, I don't get paid for these individual gigs that I hold down simultaneously on a daily basis. So it is completely okay for my friend to put $220 in my hands after I asked her for $150, which was not everything that I required in that experience, to put new tires on my car last year. I had to a lot to make that okay. And I still struggle not to want to pay her back, but we would get into a fight if I did. So instead, I just give her clothes for her kid periodically. It's fine.
And yet, I'm going to interrupt you real quick on that. If it had been a holiday and those tires showed up wrapped with a ribbon, would you feel the need to pay her back?
From her? Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
So all my judgments are funny judgments.
Okay.
I don't know that any judgments are not insane, but so I remember Lillian's birthday party, or not her birthday party, her baby shower. We had her baby shower after she was born because we waited to find out gender. So we're at Cracker Barrel and my friend's sitting next to me and she goes, I got your dinner. It's Cracker Barrel, y'all. It wasn't expensive. So I was like, in my head, I'm like, no, like, you can't afford to buy me dinner. Like, no. And God, y'all, my spirit guides are assholes. They were like, how do you know what's going on in her wallet? Like, why are you micromanaging her finances? Not bad. I still do that, though, to some extent. Like, you guys are a family of 4, just like I am, only there are 2 adults in that household. And and you have children, and like $220 in my mind is a lot of money when people have children. So I would be like, so how much for those tires? I'm gonna write you a check. Like, it would still be a thing. We get, for the last 10 years, we have gotten in some form or another support with Christmas. And there is gratitude for it. But I remember the first Christmas that we were here and it happened. They were like, what do you need? And I was like, nothing. My children need clothes, they need shoes, they like these books. My daughter likes art supplies. I'm gonna let you buy her yarn. I'm gonna regret it later. The boys like Legos. Like Legos all over the house with yarn wrapped around it. It was wonderful. But I needed furniture, and it was too big of a thing to ask for. So I didn't ask for anything. She harassed me until I said, I need a dining table, I need bunk beds, and I need a bed. And they delivered a dining table and a queen size bed. I'd been sleeping on the floor. But I would, like, she's like, what do you need? I'm like, nothing.
I got this.
Well, I'm like, and I told her, I said, what I need is, I need big things. I can't see that your congregation's going to go out and buy me a dining table and chairs. I made the universe small. I shrunk what was possible for me.
Right.
Luckily, God's got jokes. And this lady was not taking, I don't need anything for an answer. And she was like, well, lady, come up with something. Furniture, big stuff, really big stuff. And apparently it wasn't that big because it got delivered. 2 of the 3 items that I asked for showed up. My children got beds that spring from a Ashley Furniture program. This commercial is not paid for either. Ashley Furniture has a program called Hope to Dream, and they give beds to children so that they can have a great night's sleep. So that spring I got 3 beds and frames. The next Christmas I got bunk beds, way bigger than I ever asked. I was like, this is so big. Way bigger than I ever asked for. So that was also an interesting adventure and asking that I wasn't asking for at the time. So part of this year for me is going to be about asking for all of what I desire and require, and not just asking for crumbs. Mm-hmm. Which is funny because I get mad when other people offer me crumbs. I have actually said that before. Like, my children's father, he's my favorite teacher. I know it sounds like I throw him under the bus, and I do. He is my life's Judas. Like, he came to this planet just to not do the right shit so that I can have unconditional love and release judgment and all that jazz. So he will do something really benign, like, well, I did their laundry. You have a washer and dryer in your house. Oh, yeah, that's a thing that you should probably do. You don't get a cookie for that. To me, that's a crumb. When like you are 12 grand behind in child support, probably more than that. That's a rough estimate. You live 1.4 miles away and you don't parent at all, ever. The only communication you have is because I'm yelling at you or my daughter wants to talk to you. When you do laundry, I don't care. Like, to me, that's a crumb. So
to me, that's just a being a responsible adult. but
yeah. So, or when he gives me like half the child support payment and says, but I just gave you money. Dipshit, it's half of what you were court ordered to pay. And it's the only payment this year.
And I also know you well enough to know you're grateful that that's coming in.
Yes.
And it's an and conversation. And, you know, there was a thread, there's a local community group on Facebook, and there was a thread. Sometimes the threads in there are great, and sometimes I'm like, why am I reading this? And I believe that the person was attempting to, you know, share some positivity, and it was something like, what is something that your husband or boyfriend does for you? Something about, you know, that makes you really happy. And I'm seeing all these things was like, you know, oh, he did the laundry. It's like, what? He doesn't ever dirty clothes? You know, I am so thankful. My husband probably does the laundry 60 to 70% of the time.
Yeah.
He always cleans up the kitchen. If he hears me rattling around with dishes in there, what are you doing? I hear from the, you know, piped up from the living room. What are you doing? Just doing some dishes. Just leave those. I'll take care of them. He always cleans up the living room. Or not the living room, the other room, wherever the dishes are. Sometimes
that
it's the living room, but the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, and I almost typed that, and I thought, okay, wait a minute. So why am I happy and so grateful that a man who dirties clothes and dirties dishes is doing laundry and dishes? Now, I'm grateful that he always cleans up the kitchen. You know, it's not one of those things where it's like, okay, every other night or anything like that. But it's like, no, what, am I grateful he does it? Yes. But again, that's a responsible adult thing.
So there's twofold to that. Calvin lives on a very healthy pedestal. Partly out of, I spent 20 years dating idiots before he came along. Partly out of, I wrote a love list, and he is 90+% of that. Mm-hmm. And I remember telling one of my friends, like, he does, like, I praise him for basic shit. But I also get the same thing in return. Sure. It's not single-sided, but like, I will go to the grocery store, I will buy the food, I will come home, I will cook the food, and then when he washes the dishes, I'm like, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And to be grateful and to say thank you, that's absolutely, because I think that whether it's a crumb or whether it's a dining room table, I think that the gratitude piece is a huge part of the receiving, right?
Yeah.
When we can be grateful for the smallest thing and not, oh my God, thank you so much, I don't deserve this. Not that bullshit.
No.
Gratitude from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Things shift, energy shifts. When we can be grateful for the crap that brings us to our knees, that's a whole nother opening and awakening. But of course I'm going to say thank you. Hey, thanks for making dinner tonight because I really didn't feel like it. You know, thanks for picking up. Oh my God, you know, not, oh my God, you stopped at the grocery store, but oh my God, you got coconut milk for me. And I, you know, and it wasn't even on the list. Yay, thank you. Sometimes I love you looks like you bought 3 cans of coconut milk.
Yeah.
Right? It's more about the thank you, because I know you're holding me in your heart. Thank you for doing that so that I didn't have to. Thank you for that effort. Not, oh my God, my husband did the dishes. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
But what if the husband never does the dishes and this is like the one time that he does okay, I hear you.
Unless that's like for us, and it's just kind of an unspoken, that's the chore he's taken on as his.
Yeah.
It's not because I just don't ever do the dishes.
Yeah.
If we're probably going to go down some kind of crazy feminist rabbit hole in a second if I'm not careful, but
we have fun conversations. That's
yes. Okay. Fun. I might go down a fun feminist rabbit hole. if we're about equal as far as breadwinners in this house, if he was bringing home 8 million times more than me, or even 3 times more, you know what? Maybe it would be because I am working from home, my choice, not job, but my choice to, okay, I'm going to stop working a little earlier, get off my computer a little earlier, and make sure that dinner is ready, because the man's working, 45, 60, whatever hours a week outside of the house and with a bitch ass commute. That might be one thing. But my question is, if you have a husband who never does the dishes, why? Does he not dirty them? Or is there some other, quote, chore that is his?
I think so. I think that, and I'm assuming right now, like huge assuming. Yeah. But what I see is that we still have this idea that certain inside of the house stuff is a woman's work. And it's not just men's idea, it's women perpetuate that idea as well.
We buy into it just as much.
I am not so much that way, but if that were the case, that was part of why my ex-husband and I fought. Like, you got hands, pick up your laundry off the floor, your dirty clothes, put them in the hamper. Then I will go wash them, no problem. But if she has decided that the kitchen is her domain, and I have a friend like that, like her husband has a drink shelf in the fridge, period. Like, he's not allowed to get his own snacks. He is not allowed in her kitchen. Kitchen.
God, my husband would divorce me.
I'm like, okay, we're a little crazy, but whatever makes you happy.
I was going to say, if it works for them, fantastic. And I think that's the key.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but however, when so she was sick, fell asleep, slept through everything, woke up to a text of, oh my God, my husband fed the toddler. And what was he supposed to do with the toddler? Like, he's the toddler's dad, and he's also a healthy adult in the house. Like, okay.
I think that there's a lot of gender roles that, like you said, it's not just men, but women also. Some of these stereotypes, and we forget, like when people say, well, I have to ask my husband if he can babysit the kids. Wait, what? A babysitter is someone you hire. The father is the dad. So when I love the fact that you say crumbs, and again, it's not that there's no gratitude for that, but am I going to ask for crumbs? And sometimes the answer is yes, because now, luckily, in the tradition he follows, being Native American, and the traditions he follows, when you are on your moon, you don't do the cooking. You don't do the work. So almost never, sometimes I do, but I almost never have to cook when I'm on my moon. It's pretty fucking fabulous, I gotta say. Because that is the last thing I feel like.
For people who don't speak magic speak.
Oh, yeah. On my cycle. Sorry, some of you, it's probably TMI, you'd rather hear moon, but whatever. I'm grateful for that. And sometimes I will ask him, will you make breakfast today? Because I know I need to eat and I ain't got it in me.
Yeah.
And so those might be smaller things, and it's okay to ask for those as well.
So so let me sort of redefine crumbs.
Yes, please.
To me, crumbs are like, I'm hungry, like actually nutrient deficient, and you bring me like a slice of Wonder Bread. fuck am I supposed to do with this? Like, I need a salad.
I got it.
With
Okay.
some veggies in it. And like for my ex-husband to shirk all of his parenting responsibilities and then expect praise because he does one normal thing.
Got it.
Like, you're not raising the children, you're not financially supporting the children, you're not emotionally supporting the children, you're not spiritually supporting the children, you're not even being a good role model for the children. You really don't even visit the children. So you want a sticker because you did laundry?
So a crumb has less to do with the size of whatever it is, and more simply because it should, yes, I realize that word came into it. It should just be a normal part of what goes on.
Or it's insufficient for the overall experience. So like 2 front tires on a car that needs a set of tires is essentially a crumb. I mean, not really, because it took my car from being completely unsafe to drive to being drivable, but I still needed those 2 back tires. Like, it wasn't a full meal.
Right.
It was like half of a meal.
Right.
So I didn't ask for the full meal.
You asked for a crumb.
I asked for a salad instead of like steak potatoes in a salad.
Right.
So that's what I mean when I say crumb. Like, I could have asked when the church said, "What do you guys need? What do you need, Mom?" I could have said towels, but I really didn't need towels. I needed a dining table.
Right.
And we had towels. It would have been nice to have new towels, but we had towels. I needed a dining room table.
Right.
So that's what I meant by the.
And where in our lives do we do that? Where it's like, oh my God, I really need a new car. Somebody asks, what do you want for Christmas? Well, I need a new car, but I'm going to ask for a journal for the year. Because I don't want to be an imposition, I think was the word you used earlier today. I don't want to be an imposition. I don't want to be, I grew up in the Midwest. That would be a little rude to ask for something that large.
Yeah.
Or would it?
No, because I've been given 3 cars this lifetime.
Right? See?
And I'm thinking, like, so this year's asks are about big, bold asks for me, because last year was like small stuff.
You had to practice.
Last year was like, can I get a bag? You put my stuff that I just paid you money for in a bag, please. And so after last month's housing experience, I'm wondering if a house would be a fun thing to ask for.
We know someone who was gifted one, so why not?
A 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, zoned for these schools. Like, I think I'll put that out there.
I always have to remember that you have minis, because when I hear that many bathrooms, I just think, oh, shit, that's a lot of stuff to clean.
No. Lee cleans his bathroom.
Nice.
He is required to clean his own bathroom. Lillian, so it would be a Lillian bathroom, a boys' bathroom, and Lucas might start using Lillian's bathroom because Lee is just gross. He's 10 and he's a boy. And a master suite bathroom, and then a half bath for people wandering about the house, because I have 3 children and people like me, so there will be people wandering about the house. So we need at least 2 clean bathrooms in the house.
Right. I think that's a great thing. Are you familiar with the red paperclip experiment?
No, tell me about the red paperclip experiment.
So, and for those of you who do know it, if I screw this up, it's close enough.
Forgive us.
So this guy decided to do this. Basically, it was an ask kind of experiment. And he started with a red paperclip. and wanted to see how the barter system would work. So he kept trading up. He's like, do you have something, of value that you'd be willing to trade for this paperclip? And got it traded, ended up trading up, after, and it traded up for weird shit, and like one of the things ended up being the part in a movie. And so what he did, and what his end goal was, a house. And so as the story went, he ended up with this part in a movie, which he then gave, if you will, to this town. It was conditional, though. Basically, he wanted that house. So what they did is they did a raffle, and people could buy tickets to then have a drawing to see who would get to actually be in the movie. And in exchange for that, he got the keys to this house. So
I love it.
Right? Starting with a freaking red paperclip and the barter, and what do you have of value that, you're willing to trade? At one point, something he had traded up for, he ended up with like 2 leather recliners that somebody had sitting in the garage. People have shit they're ready and willing to get rid of. And it's like, if you've got something I want or need, or if I just find this to be really fascinating and goofy, I might trade you my dining table and chairs.
Yeah.
Because they're just kind of flat surface syndrome right now.
That's hilarious.
And I want a desk. I want an office desk instead of because we don't have people over. So I don't need, what the hell do I need a dining room table for?
I have the opposite problem. I need to seat 12.
When I have my own house, that may shift. Nobody will drive up here. Oh, you live all the way up there? Come on now. Seriously. You make it sound like I live halfway to Canada.
We're going to work on that. Somebody will drive all the way up there.
Yeah, well, the other piece is working on my half side and having that part be okay. He doesn't always like having other people's energy. He has to clean the place when they leave.
I get that.
Yeah.
Immensely.
Yeah. But, and that might be why they don't drive up here, is because there may be energetically some stuff. But I think that there's an opportunity. Why not ask for a house?
Okay.
This year, one of the things I want is I want a new car. And this is the piece where and this may be tabled for another call, otherwise we will go on all freaking day.
Yeah.
With that's not my ask for this week. I often get, be specific about what you want. But there's also the don't be attached to what it looks like. And so for me, sometimes that balance, my half side tells the story of a woman he knew that, was this whole positive thought, affirmation, visualization stuff. And she kept saying, I want a red convertible Cadillac with a white interior parked in my garage. I want a red Cadillac convertible in my garage. I want a red Cadillac convertible. That was her, everybody, or maybe it was a white convertible Cadillac with red interior, but whichever it was constantly her mantra.
Mm-hmm.
So here she wants this red Cadillac, white interior in my garage. Well, with where she lives, it's a little windy. 2 kids decide to take grandpa's car out for a joyride. Take a corner too fast, right over the edge. She hears this crazy crash and goes out to her garage to see a red Cadillac convertible with a white interior sitting in her garage.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite what she meant.
No, not at all. And I've had those kinds of experiences. One of my favorite car ones was, I wanted the Mazda MPV. And that is a minivan, for those of you who don't speak minivan. And they no longer make it in the US.
Oh.
But when I moved here from Memphis, that's what was in my head, the gold Mazda MPV. And move in with my mother-in-law, who one day says to me, do you have a license? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you want to just take my car to the store? First of all, Twilight Zone. What universe am I in? Let me drive your car? Are you feeling okay? But she had the brand new, fresh off the assembly line CX-7, which is the crossover that they replaced the MPV with. So the universe always delivers me an upgrade. Always. So I got to drive the brand new CX-7. And I was like, okay, I get it. The universe always says yes, and it gives it to you as fast as you can receive it, in the fastest way you can receive it. And the fastest way that I could receive it is to drive my mother-in-law's. The other thing is, be very specific about your desires, or you'll get what's underneath it. Clearly that lady didn't believe that she could have what she was affirming. I wanted to be at home with my kiddos, and I had a full-time gig for a Fortune 500 company. And in 1 week, my boyfriend broke up with me. I totaled my car and I got laid off from my job. I was at home every day at 2:30 when my kids got off the bus.
Yeah.
Huh?
Wasn't quite what you meant.
Wasn't quite what I meant. No.
Yeah.
I still wanted to be able to pay my rent.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that for a long time stopped me from asking, because I didn't want to fuck it up and ask for something and have the wrong shit show up.
Yeah. So what do we do when that happens? I know we need a wrap, but what do we do when that happens?
Well, I think the unattachment piece, I think being clear on what you want, like you said, what's underneath. Obviously there was something underneath when she asked for that convertible, that there was something underneath that either there was a lack of belief that was possible, a lack of belief, or just a specificity of, yes, I want to be home with my kiddos while being gainfully employed.
That part was missing.
Yes. And so I think that not that we have to, okay, I want to be home with my kiddos while gainfully employed and have a car that works, and blah, 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 so that all of a sudden it becomes a tangled ball of what the hell did you just ask for? Because I think we have to have that clarity. But when we set the intention, what's our intention? To be able to provide for my kids emotionally and financially.
Yeah.
Emotionally, financially, and physically. Okay, great. That might show up differently than I want to be home with my kiddos, right?
And it did. Mm-hmm. You said something else that was really important, or that sparked something really important for me. And it was that I didn't believe that I could provide for them and raise them. So I lived in this either or until 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the and conversation and the specificity conversation will be good ones for us to continue playing with as we go through this.
I like that. I want to address from my end the what do you do when you ask and shit shows up?
Yeah.
Ask again.
So same thing, different way? Or refine it? Or when you say ask again? Because obviously you're not wanting to ask the same thing.
Yeah, I wanted to be at home with my kiddos. And so that, like I said, it took 2 more years for me to get to a space where I felt like I was comfortable.
Okay.
And then it took another year for me to go, oh, okay, like these are my priorities. This is what is truly important to me. And I'm willing to, these are the beliefs that are in the way. Let me clear those. I had to get over being at home. I had to look at, I really want to provide for my kiddos emotionally and physically, I don't want them raised in daycare.
Right.
And so once I got like, oh, okay, I don't have to be home to make that happen. Then I got a job that allowed me to be home for homework and dinner, and it still covered all the bills. Mm-hmm. Now that's evolving. So yeah, so I think that don't just ask again, like, oh, that didn't work. Tweak and ask. So, okay, I'm home with my kids, now what? I still gotta, keep a roof over their heads. So what ended up happening was I'm sharing space with other people. It was the solution it was the fastest way that the universe could give me what I asked for.
Right.
And look at the beliefs that are creating the shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, what needs to be cleared so that it's out of the way, so what you meant, get clear in what you meant, but then also clear the beliefs that might be blocking what you meant to actually show up.
Yep.
And I think the either or, you had mentioned you were living this either or existence. I think the and conversation is also an important one, as well as not being attached to what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because and this is something just from a practical standpoint, even in the networking group that I'm a part of, every week we ask for something. And one woman I know years ago had asked for a referral, a direct introduction. She owned a printing company to Pepsi. Mm-hmm. Someone in her group came up to her later and was like, well, I know that you had asked for Pepsi, but because, what a great printing contract that would be, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, I don't have a connection there, but would 7-Up be okay? Well, she's not going to go, oh, no, I don't want to print all of 7-Up's stuff. No, yes, absolutely. She wasn't attached to that's what it looked like. It looked like Pepsi. It was okay that it looked like 7-Up. If somebody had given you a blue MPV instead of a, what gold. Was it gold?
Gold.
Would that have been okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's blue. No.
One of my asks last year was for a mechanic to fix my Saturn, because I loved my Saturn. It was dead though, y'all. And ultimately, I got a mechanic to buy it from me after someone gave me a Kia Rio.
That seems like a pretty good upgrade.
Yeah, it's 3 years newer, had way less mileage, reliable car. The only thing wrong with it is that I'm ghetto, y'all. The dial for the heat that goes up and down, the medium, low, high setting, it doesn't work unless you push it in. So I stuck a paper clip in it because I'm innovative, and I don't have mechanic money at the moment. So I innovated and stuck a paper clip in it. So in a couple of months, I will actually pay a mechanically inclined human to fix that.
Well, in a couple months, you won't need the heat, so it won't matter.
Well, the AC, same thing. So
okay, never mind then.
I'll get the AC charged because it has manual windows.
Oh, okay.
But underneath that is a reliable vehicle that is fun to drive. Mm-hmm. That was what I asked for. That is what I got.
Yep.
And this is really funny. Yesterday, talking to one of my managers, and she's like, I should take my car back from my ex-husband because blah, blah, blah. My job is fun. And I'm like, she's like, but I don't really need 2 cars. Well, how much are the payments? About $200 a month. next month, let me know if you decide to take that back from him, because I might buy it from you. So I might have a Honda Civic next month.
Wow. Look at you, sister.
That one's much more fun to drive.
I think free is fun to drive, period. But
yeah. So do you have asks for next week?
Man, didn't that one count?
You have ask hangover now?
I do have a little bit of ask hangover.
Well,
you know what?
We can leave cliffhangers right here.
I find that sometimes some of the asks for my business, it's like, but I'm already doing that. So it doesn't feel like a big ask, you know? Mm-hmm. I've got the winter cleanse. Oh, we're not using that word. The winter reboot, because people freak out at cleanse and detox. It's all food. Stop freaking people. It's coming up, and Julie and I have a certain number of people we would love to see in there. So my ask is going to be for people to go beyond just posting it on their wall. Because I have lots of people who have done that for me. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't typically get response.
Okay.
So my ask of the universe is to have that filled. And for us, filled is 20 people.
Okay.
I don't care how it happens, but I think part of my piece will be asking people specifically, not just, will you post this on your wall? But who do you know who has complained about, falling off the wagon? I've tried everything. Who can you introduce me to who would be a great fit for this?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be, I don't have that page done yet though, so I don't know for sure that that's going to be this week's or if it will end up being next week's.
Okay.
But that's my ask. And I'm going to work this week on also the car ask, because mine is 14 years old, 200,000 miles on it. Mm-hmm. It needs some new boot hose, something. And when I go in to get it, everybody looks at me like, we don't have a part for that. Well, the duct tape ain't gonna hold for forever. I need to find this part. They're hard to find though, because my car's so old. It's still so great though. But
I have two things for that.
Yeah.
One, yes, ask. Two, pull apart.
Say more about that.
So here there are places where you can just go and do you have a 2005 Kia Rio back there? And they're like, oh yeah, it's over here. So then you go over there and you dig through the Rio under the hood and you find the part you need and you take it to them and you buy it from them and then you go.
Okay. Yes. And I think I may have found one on Amazon.
And eBay. So, eBay is phenomenal.
Yeah. So I think I have found one. It's one of those things where I'm like, I hope I'm ordering the right thing. It looks kind of like it, that whole shit. But I think I have found the part. And for right now, that will be great. And I'm ready for a non-SUV that gets better mileage.
Yeah.
I like fun to drive. I'd really love, if I'm going all out and asking for what I really want, I want one of these wonderful eco-friendly type of cars that's, I'd love a hybrid. That's what I want, is a hybrid that has less miles. I like the whole reliable thing. It has to be fun to drive. Has to.
Yeah.
Want something with much better gas mileage.
I want to get clearer about what I want, but my ask this week is going to be for money. It's going to be an easier ask because I'm not asking for money from me. I'm behind on saving for adopting a family for Christmas. So I'm going
Ah,
to be asking people to get me to $50.
sweet. I
Yeah.
know someone who wanted to support a family for Christmas and got her entire Facebook group involved, and they had everything shipped to her house, and the stash was ginormous.
I can imagine.
So I think with stuff like that, people, so you have a specific year-end goal, what you want that to be,
I
how much
would
you want
like
to
it to be $1,000.
okay. And so you have a monthly amount that you're saving up for that, is that it?
Yeah. I'm
Are you,
saving 25 a month and oh wait, that's not enough.
no, not even
I think it was 500 and I was saving 25 a month and I was looking to ask people to match that.
oh, it's perfect.
But I would really, considering like a middle school family, like, okay, so when I think 3 years ago, winter was always a struggle because my job was seasonal. So by December, I wasn't working. By January, I was broke. So Christmas was fine because Christmas presents got delivered, but like the utility bill might have been late. The rent was definitely late. I want to be able to not just give them things, but like if mom says to me, okay, the water bill's behind, or the light bill's behind, or I could not pay December's rent because we were thinking about Christmas or whatever, I want to be able to go, okay, who's your landlord? I'll write a check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would like definitely like whatever gizmos and gadgets and jeans and shoes the kiddos want because we're looking at a middle school family. And like I called Ameren and I paid your power bill, so you're good.
Right.
Keep that cash for next month.
Right.
So
So that's going to be an ongoing ask if you're looking for people to match, right?
yep, that's an ongoing ask. And I'm asking bigger because cover my month this month too, because I did it.
Right. So perfect.
Yeah.
So this week you're asking for monetary donations for your Christmas family adoption program.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yep. Yay. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
I'm gonna
Thank you.
do the stopping of